everybody, welcome back to C.O.G Music. I am going to be getting to the review I promised in the last video I posted, very short one. But this is a quote-unquote new guitar I picked up. It's an Ibanez AAD50CE. It's what Ibanez refers to as a grand Dreadnought. It is supposedly, according to Ibanez, approximately 5% larger than most standard Dreadnoughts. CE stands for cutaway and electronics. So there is a slightly less expensive version of this that is not a CE. It does not have the cutaway, and it's purely acoustic, but it is, I want to say, about $50 less than this one. This retails everywhere I checked online for $299.99. I believe the purely acoustic version without the cutaway is $50 less, $249.99. This particular one I picked up off of eBay for $161. It was a open box guitar. I have purchased an open box guitar in the past and really found little to nothing wrong with it. So I took a chance on this, and for 161 bucks, I thought it definitely was going to be worth it. And I've concluded it definitely was. There were some very minor cosmetic flaws I found on the guitar, most of which, I would most likely be the only person to have noticed them going over the guitar as closely as I did after receiving it. But I really, really enjoy this guitar. It has a very open, booming sound, as I would expect with a grand Dreadnought. Actually, I have never owned a Dreadnought-sized acoustic guitar, so it seems very comfortable, not, to hold. It's something is much larger than I am used to playing. Some of the features that come with this particular guitar is your built-in Ibanez tuner, this narrower headstock that Ibanez came out with. They claim that one of the reasons for doing this, aesthetically, I like it a lot. The tapered, much narrower headstock coupled with the really big body, I think, is just a good look. But they also claim that, the narrower headstock allows the strings to run straighter from the nut to the tuners. So it's got that. It has a solid Sitka spruce top. That is pretty uncommon for a guitar in this price range. But solid Sitka spruce top. I'm assuming the sides and back, because it's not labeled as solid, are laminate, but the sides and back are sapele. The neck is akume, and it has a Purple Heart fretboard and Purple Heart bridge. I'm going to put up a picture from the Ibanez website. This particular top came in what Ibanez calls a transparent charcoal burst. Now, if you notice from that particular picture, it seems to have a much lighter gray middle area to the top and much darker black edges kind of one fading into the other. This particular guitar did not have that for the most part. It had almost no gray to it, very much black throughout. It also, all of the 3 color variations of this guitar have a what they call a low gloss finish. Really, I refer to it as matte finish, but I wasn't too thrilled with how dark everything looked, especially compared to the picture on the Ibanez site. And some of the cosmetic flaws were some very small nicks and gouges in the top, which led me to do what I did, was refinish the entire top, and I went for a distressed look. Again, the guitar itself, it's just great sounding. So that's an example of what it plays like, what it sounds like, not plugged in, purely acoustic. I do also want to apologize as far as any lack of audio quality. When I'm putting together my videos, I'm simply recording through my iPhone, and that's what the audio is as well. It sounds cliche, but the guitar does sound much better than it's coming through on the phone. But it's just a really bright, mid-range, heavy tone that I personally really like. I had the guitar set up after I did my little distressing project. I had the strings replaced with a heavier gauge that came with a 12 gauge set, and I had them replaced with a 13 gauge set. That's what I've always used, the medium, which I think helps a much more booming, fuller sound from the guitar. According to the shop that I had it done at, there was minor adjustments to the truss rod. The gentleman who did the setup said he sanded down the bottom of the saddle to get the strings to lay down. I do want to do some example of what it can sound like plugged in. Another really nice feature about this guitar, and again, being within the price range that it's in, the inputs jacks, it has two 1/4 inch input jack, and it also has an XLR jack. I've played with both inputs separately, of course, but my amplifier does have both a 1/4 inch jack input to the amp and an XLR input, and I played both. The XLR does a much better job of capturing all the nuances of the guitar versus the 1/4 inch jack. I also have a microphone though, and that has an XLR jack. So normally I keep the microphone plugged in and using the XLR and use the 1/4 inch jack. It still sounds pretty darn good. So in conclusion, I did want to mention a couple of other things as far as the tuners on this particular guitar are the best tuners I've ever experienced on any guitar I've ever owned. I don't know exactly what it is as far, they're the Ibanez tuners themselves. They just rotate extremely butter smooth. Better, again, like I said, any previous guitar I've ever owned. These are just super smooth. It's very accurate. It holds tune very well. The tuner on it seems to be extremely accurate as well. So overall, it's like there is no way to go wrong, in my opinion, with this guitar. Again, I don't have any experience ever having owned a Dreadnought, but I am super impressed with the sound and the quality of the guitar. It's just unbelievable price point. I would also mention that don't be afraid of taking a chance on an open box guitar. I would look specifically for a seller that is referring to themselves as an authorized Ibanez dealer. Like I said, this one was an open box. I have purchased another Ibanez acoustic electric that was an open box. Absolutely minimal things wrong with it. The cosmetic flaws I did come across on this one, if I had ordered it new, I probably would not have returned it because of how minor they were and how well it played. I would much rather keep it than return it and risk getting something that had no cosmetic flaws but didn't play as well as this one. So don't be afraid necessarily. There's always a caveat with the buying an open box, but the two I have purchased, very minor flaws, do not affect the playing of the guitar whatsoever. So I am going to save how and why I did the finishing for another video. So this is going to conclude the one on simply the review on the Ibanez AAD50CE. And I thank you guys so much for checking this out. Come back. Should be shortly that I will post one on the finishing of the top of the guitar. But for now, just remember, whenever you're playing, have fun. Take care.